KETV Newswatch 7, chronicling the stories impacting our community. Stories making a difference. Stories that matter to you. This is KETV Newswatch 7's Chronicle.
We're really hoping that workplaces look at the whole person and all of the things that they need to be healthy.
Every dollar that you invest into corporate wellness, you get $6 back.
Because we've made it a voluntary program and it's always been based on rewarding people for making good choices as opposed to punishing people, it's been well received because we've also had a lot of positive results.
It's really important for work sites to think about their workers' health because we do spend most of our waking hours at work.
And with that in mind, more companies both in Nebraska and Iowa are starting employee wellness programs, which leads to happier employees and helps companies cut costs. Good morning, I'm Julie Cornell. This is KETV Newswatch 7's Chronicle. Today, we look at what companies big and small are doing to keep their employees healthy. We'll talk with a health strategies consultant, the CEO of a local nonprofit which creates workplace wellness programs for hundreds of employers, and two people who run their company's wellness programs. In the next 30 minutes, we'll find out what works, what doesn't, and what the future holds. First, though, if you look at some numbers, 70% of U.S. companies are investing in wellness programs. That's up from 58% in 2008. And 73% of employees say they're interested in having a program to keep them motivated, but 63% are unwilling to devote at least an hour a day to health-related activities. So how do you reconcile those differences? Well, perhaps it all comes down to motivation. A recent study in an internal medicine publication put that to the test, trying to figure out how to make these programs more effective. Dr. Barry Ramos shows us what they did.
Researchers gave nearly 300 people a 7,000-step goal to keep up during a 13-week challenge. The participants were broken up into groups. One got $1.40 for each day they hit 7,000 steps. The second participants were entered into a daily lottery. They could only win if they met their goal the day before. And the third received $42 up front, with the caveat that participants lost $1.40 for each day they failed to meet the 7,000-step goal.
So what did researchers find? Well, the group threatened with losing money actually exercised more. In this case, if they were promoting fitness, the stick was more powerful than the carrot. Now, something else to think about. New research shows sitting is just as bad for your health as smoking. Think about how much you sit during the day. The average is about 13 hours. Well, this morning, the problems that chair creates and a couple of moving solutions. Active bodies fuel active minds. That's the idea behind this wellness program at Chandler View Elementary, where students are doing math with a 5-minute burst of exercise.
How many students have green eyes?
20. Jessica Kipple and her third graders wear pedometers to track their movement during the day. And while most workplaces don't let you turbocharge your heart,
it's being aware that, hey, you know, I've been sitting long enough, I need to get up, move.
And that, wellness experts say, is the beginning of positive change.
Most people aren't even aware of how much that they're sitting.
Linda Kennedy teaches at Creighton University's new Healthy Lifestyle Management program, teaching wellness coaches how to get people out of their chairs and active again.
You know what, Julie, people want a magic pill. They really do.
During our standing interview, she says chairs are killing Americans.
Your body just kind of shuts down. We're meant to move. Our bodies are meant to move. So when we sit down, then we're in a position of rest. So then we're not burning as many calories. Our muscles aren't firing.
That inactivity contributes to heart disease, depression, diabetes, and obesity. She says take a cue from kids and play. Make the most of your breaks and get moving, like teacher Keisha King, who constantly walks the track at school.
Because that helps the mind just as much as, you know, the pencil paperwork.
Back in Linda's office,
it's just really easy.
She uses a convertible desk, so she's standing for several hours a day.
Your back, your core, your muscles are turned on, so they're functioning as they're supposed to, and they're holding up our spine and our neck and our head, so our posture is better than when we're sitting.
She encourages stand-up meetings, walking meetings, taking the long route to the copy machine. She says everyone should be up and out of their chair for 5 minutes every hour.
Anything that incorporates getting up and making that more acceptable in the culture. So it's not strange for somebody to be standing during a meeting. It becomes more the norm.
Back at the track, it's Keisha's norm to get those steps in. How many steps today?
Oh, I got 5,000 yet to go.
Oh boy, okay. We better walk faster. So the research suggests if you can stand and move for an extra 2 hours a day, it's so much better for your body and your mind. Joining us now to talk more about the trends that we're seeing when it comes to workplace wellness programs, Allison Brumgart, a health strategies consultant with United Healthcare, and Rebecca Vinton, president and CEO of Wellcome. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
So what does a health strategies consultant do?
Well, my role at United Healthcare is working with employer groups on helping them to measure the effectiveness of their wellness program. I also have the opportunity to work with employers who have elected to have a United Healthcare wellness coordinator, coach, or a nurse on site at their workplace.
So this is a health insurance company taking a role and saying, here, get your people moving.
Absolutely.
Wow,
yes.
so important. And how about you? How did Wellcome form?
Actually, Wellcome is the first nonprofit in the United States that was formed specifically around worksite wellness. We were founded right here in Omaha in 1982 by 4 CEOs, the CEOs of Union Pacific, Valmont, Mutual of Omaha, and Central States. They created a nonprofit to help them as business leaders to understand how to integrate health and well-being into the overall business model, and it's been effective for 35 years now.
That's so unusual, Rebecca. They were really ahead of the curve there, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. We call them not only our 4 founders, but our 4 founders really
That's
in the
funny.
industry. And this is really where worksite wellness all started, was right here in Omaha,
pioneers.
Nebraska.
Why did they want to start it? Why did those 4 people say, hey, this is important?
Well, specifically Bill Kaiser, our founder, he was noticing a trend with employees at his company that were smoking at their workstations. Can you imagine?
Right, well, I remember those days.
Remember those days. And he realized at that time where health and wellness was really becoming mainstream that there has to be a business impact to the behaviors of the employees and the outcome of the business. So it was a very forward-thinking idea that really took off, and President Reagan even noticed the work that the 4 founders did right here in Omaha in about 1984.
And it was the health impact of the smoking, but it was the time away from work while they were standing outside or wherever, or, you know. I think that was part of it too, part of the equation.
Right.
What trends are we seeing in the marketplace now, Allison?
Well, a couple of things that we're seeing is more employers are really wanting to begin building that culture of health, you know, taking it just beyond just a basic walking program. They really want to have wellness committees and wellness champions. They want to have an incentive plan, a strategy around the different initiatives. They want to look at their health plan data and really match that up with programs that they're offering. And those are the employer groups that we're really seeing that are seeing some results out there. They're getting that return on the investment.
Are they mostly big employers?
No, we see our large national employers, but also mid-sized to small employers. And at United Healthcare, we're really trying to create programs that can help employers no matter where they're at on the continuum, and also create programs to really help their employees get moving, live healthier lives, but also make good healthcare decisions when they interact with the healthcare system.
And Rebecca, is it one size fits all? Where do you start when you go into a company?
Absolutely not. It really does depend, like Allison said, on the overall demographics. What is it that the company does for their business? I think really does impact that as well. It does need to start from the top down. The CEO needs to be passionate, understand that there is a business model around incorporating these kinds of programs, and that worksite wellness should not be treated any differently than any other type of initiative that the company is looking at. So everything, again, is tied back into the overall strategy that the business wants to see.
Right, that makes sense. So do they start at the vending machines? Do they start with a walking program? Are there different price points, I suppose? That's a good starting point, I guess. How much do they want to spend?
Yeah, I think that is a good place, especially for the physical portion of wellness. We look at the whole person. We also look at integrating mind, body, and spirit. And I think that by looking at policy integration, things like that, the company has the power to change the environment. They don't have the power to change the people. So it's a lot easier task to change the environment in which they show up every day.
It's a more holistic approach.
Right. Yes.
Are there some trends that are hot right now? I know that the Fitbit trends kind of got people moving, but I know that also if you wear one and you shake your arm, you're getting steps in. So
yeah, the wearable device industry is really taking off, very popular. I see that continuing over into 2018. I think when they first came out, employers saw them as kind of like an incentive or a prize that they could give their participants for participating in a program, but what we found out is that they really want them to be integrated into an overall benefit plan and an overall wellness program. So we have a program called United Healthcare Motion, in which participants get that wearable technology and they have certain fitness goals that they need to meet during the day, and they can accumulate financial incentives. Our program is up to $1,500 in financial incentives that they can earn throughout the year just by wearing that device, participating in walking activities, and meeting those fitness goals.
And are they excited about that?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. And employers are excited because they feel like they're getting something in return. They're not just giving away a Fitbit or a fitness tracking device, but they really feel like the employees are actually using that. They're seeing results. They're teaming up with their coworkers to go out on walks to make sure that they meet their goals, so they, at the end of the day, they get that financial incentive.
Rebecca, what do we know about employees who participate in wellness programs?
Well, I think it makes sense to think about the business. If you have employees that are happy, if they take good care of themselves, and that the workplace has provided that environment to do the best job that they can. They were hired not to participate in a wellness program. They were hired to do a job and to do it well. So the employer has the obligation to provide that environment that makes it to do their job more effectively and more passionately. And I think by creating a healthy environment, that it makes it that much easier for them. So it's looking at, do they feel valued? Do they feel appreciated? It goes beyond the physical. It's really, do I show up to work every day and someone cares about my opinions, and I have a best friend at work, and things and things like that.
And a buddy to accompany me on this journey.
Right.
And so they're not alone either.
Exactly.
Does it help if more people in the group are doing the program so that you can kind of encourage each other, motivate each other?
Absolutely. We see that with the programs that we offer, whether it's a weight loss program or the walking programs. If they have that social connection, that's such a big part of wanting to be able to participate in the employer-sponsored wellness program and stay committed to the program. You know, that's not just kind of a one and done thing, that they are continuously wanting to get involved in what their employer is offering them.
How much money can a wellness program save a company?
You know, it really just depends. It really just depends. I think what we find is that the employers that have success with this, they've been doing this program for a long time, and they are really committed to it, and they've built up that culture of health. So we recently did an analysis on groups that have won wellness awards with United Healthcare, Creighton University being one of those clients and Gallup being another client. And what we found when we compared them to their peers, their costs were about 14% less. So we are seeing that they tend to perform better on the health plan perspective, fewer sick days. They get good employee satisfaction results as well when they've got a real good company-sponsored wellness program.
Okay, and one more quick question. If I want my company to get involved in this, who do I go to? My boss?
You can start there.
Yes. Well, obviously you have to have that person that's committed to it. And looking at the overall business structure, you would want the CEO to say, yes, this is the kind of culture that we want. We know it encourages not only the healthcare costs that we were talking about, the reduction there, but we're talking about engagement and doing and making the business as strong as possible.
And everybody wants that.
And everybody wants that at the end of the day.
Thank you so much. Great information. Well, we've heard about how these programs are designed, measured, evaluated. Up next, how they really work in the workplace. Do employees take part? We're talking with two local companies about the success they've seen. It's when KETV Newswatch 7's Chronicle continues. Welcome back to KETV Newswatch 7's Chronicle. Almost everyone agrees one of the best ways to reduce the burden on the U.S. healthcare system is to keep people healthier to start with. Fewer hospital stays, fewer prescriptions. It's why many workplaces are developing a wellness approach, and it's paying off in pounds, inches, and job satisfaction. Just 1 year ago, David Buffington was in a real crunch. The Creighton University Library Tech Specialist reached his peak weight.
I just let myself go, you know, stress of work, everything, diabetes that runs in the family, heart disease runs in the family. So it's like, I can't do this anymore.
Creighton offers each of their 2,300 employees a well check, complete with blood work and a photo.
About 80% take advantage of that. It's free. David was probably on a path for needing medication for blood pressure and cholesterol.
Seeing the numbers and photo motivated him to sign up for a wellness program, all free through Creighton and their health insurer, United Healthcare.
If we can hopefully stop the bleed or keep people from becoming high risk and really attending to people's risk early on, we're going to be much better off people are going to be more productive.
David chose a self-guided program with exercise DVDs and weekly online coaching.
It was a whole lifestyle change, not a quick fix. I'm in it for the long run, not just for a month.
Others choose just to walk, use the gym, or join a group activity or weight loss challenge. Now, 65 pounds lighter.
I feel amazing. It's the smart way to go.
David finds taking steps toward wellness is empowering.
We care about the whole person. The employees that work here, we really want them to feel cared about.
Well, the key is to find that activity that works for you. Healthy employees cost less with 50% lower hospital stays, fewer ER visits, and trips to urgent care. Joining me now to talk about more is Creighton University's Plan Director Dawn Obermiller and Ryan Wolf, who's the Wellness Coordinator at Gallup. And we talk about a culture of wellness. What is the culture at Gallup?
Well, the culture of wellness really starts with our COO, Jane Miller, and our CFO, Jim Krieger, and they really wholeheartedly encourage and support all of our wellness initiatives. But then it's really what we found is that it's not just them that creates the culture, it's that they empower our managers to give the thumbs up to employees to live their healthiest life.
So it's got to start at the top.
Yep, definitely.
Would you say that's the case at Creighton as well?
Absolutely. We really work with not only the highest level of management, but then those kind of middle managers to really try to make sure that they're all supporting actively engagement with our people in the programs.
What I like about Creighton's program is that you offer a variety of programs. It's not like the young man in our story, he was using DVDs, but you have classes,
right.
You have groups. Why is that important to have a variety?
Everybody's journey is different, and how they get to that point when they're ready to engage is a little bit different. Some people prefer to do things on their own. Maybe they participate in online offerings. They might want to have a group support session. They might want one-on-one, telephonic, or in-person group, individualized type of coaching. So everybody grasps on a little bit differently, and so it's important to kind of have a variety of ways of doing that.
Of reaching them. How important is it, Ryan, to have that little motivator, to have that prize or that goal?
Well, it's definitely nice early on, perhaps, but what we found is, and we're really focusing on intrinsic motivation, and I think really the whole wellness and now the well-being industry is really turning to that people maybe like the $200 gift cards, but what they really want is they want to feel cared about, and they want to know that it's okay to go to the gym, it's okay to have the flexibility to come into work early or leave early as long as I'm getting my work done, and I can have the flexibility to use a gym or pick up my kids from school.
Sure. Is it a challenge to get employees on board, or do they want it?
No, so everybody's a little different,
sure,
right?
Sure.
Okay, so we speak different languages to all individuals, and generations, and health statuses, and genders. So everybody's in a little bit of different spot.
Right.
So the variety is very important.
So if you can get one person to give up pop and stop smoking and maybe just walk a little bit more, that's success, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, let's go run a marathon tomorrow.
Right, absolutely. Not everybody is going to lose 50 pounds in a program, but being able to make, very small changes, whether it's being a little bit more active, whether it is cutting back on smoking or quitting altogether, maybe it's being a little bit more physically active, incorporating stress management, all those things, little steps do mean and make a difference.
Sure. Do employees ever come to you and say, hey, my doctor said I have to do this to get off my blood pressure medication, or I really don't want to be on this medicine, what can I do, will you help me?
Yeah.
Is that a common scenario?
It happens all the time. It happens so much, and it's nice to give advice and to be able to help somebody. And then you have a contingency of people who have done the same thing. So we're not just working with people all the time individually. We have ambassadors that we can turn on.
Peer support, right?
Absolutely.
Once they accomplish this exercise routine, do they feel empowered?
Absolutely, but the one thing we know that both Ryan and I know in our worlds is that people need support ongoing, and so being able to work through the challenge, reach their goal isn't enough. We have to continue with that support ongoing because people's lives change.
Right, that's true.
You know, people have different stresses that show up in their lives, whether it's at work or at home. And so different challenges that sometimes get in the way of staying on track with their goals. And so that's where the wellness program comes in, is you're there to actively support them when they need it.
Right. I think that companies can't do it alone. I mean, that's a lot of work. We all have our own individual jobs to do.
Right.
Wellness seems like a whole nother job. I mean, you have those jobs.
Right, right, yes. And our corporations or our university, you know, have committed to having someone on board and really owning our programs. You know, not every company can do that, but there's still a whole lot of things that you can do without an actual wellness coordinator.
Give me some ideas.
Sure. I mean, if you can create a wellness council or a committee that's made up of volunteers, you can kind of spread the load. People can join together to create walking groups. They can come up with a healthy meeting policy where they, you know, encourage people to bring healthier foods to the workplace.
You can also improve the wellness of your building. Everybody, our building, we shape our buildings, and then our buildings shape us. So that's a Winston Churchill quote there, but it's really so true. And we have to partner with our facilities, and we have to make sure that our air is clean and that our water is clean. That we have nourishing food, we have spaces that we can congregate together and walk. And feel comfortable. The lighting's productive, so that's another aspect that we can focus on as well.
Again, it's just a whole person approach.
Absolutely.
Very good. Any final thoughts?
Go ahead. I could say that I could go just a little bit more about intrinsic incentives, and that there's incentives they have been a big deal, but
they fade.
Well, they get you started. They get people started. They get people to take notice of what they need to do. It gets them started.
Sure, that makes sense. And then you run with it.
Yes.
Very good.
But offering an incentive before you have a culture of care is really hard.
Right,
so it really starts with the CEO and at that top level, and then empowering the managers to say to really their direct reports that it's okay to have the flexibility to leave when you want to get up and walk.
Sure, to buy into it. Right, very good. Thank you so much. We'll be right back with some final thoughts. First, though, your comments, big part of this show. Many of you shared your feelings about the Huskers after last week's Chronicle, highlighting those former players. Peter Hansen wrote to us, "I'd like to see Wisconsin and Iowa lose to us Huskers, bring back the plays that make Husker fans excited for the game the next weekend." Mike Bodo sent us this email. "I'm 58 years old, love my Huskers. We had some awesome teams and players that I'll never forget. The Huskers had a bad season, they'll be back, and I will be there for them, no matter who the coach is." If you want to be heard, you can email us, news@ketv.com. You're watching KETV News Watch 7's Chronicle. This morning, we've been talking about employee wellness programs. Many give you that extra incentive you need to stay healthy and fit, which can be a challenge, especially this time of year. So here are 7 tips to consider as we enter the peak time for holiday parties and celebrations. First, keep moving as much as possible. Stick to your routine. That includes exercising. Get all the sleep you need. Don't be afraid to act like a kid. Get out there and ice skate, make a snowman, go skiing. Remember, it's okay to indulge every once in a while. Just don't make it a season of indulgences. Sign up for a race or a run. It'll give you a goal to work toward, and whether it's this month or even next year. Remember, it's okay to say no. Skip the holiday cookie or treat because it does add up. Don't forget to hydrate. Water can work wonders this time of year. You should try to drink about 64 ounces a day. Remember, if you missed any part of this show or you want to watch it again, it's online right now at ketv.com. Go to our homepage, click on the menu button, look for Chronicle. I'm Julie Cornell. Thanks for watching.